Good afternoon and welcome to the October 13th meeting of the Public Works and Finance Committee meeting. We'll jump right in. We have, 4 items on the agenda. The first being the approval of the Public Works and Finance Committee meeting minutes from September 8th.
I actually sent a correction to Lori about those because I was not here, but my name's on it.
I love it. And so
So I'm sure she'll fix them.
with that friendly amendment, any concerns before we?
Zero concerns.
Great. So we are comfortable approving them, recommending approval. And then second item is the disbursement report of September 2025 with Sarah Decker. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. All right, so looking at the accounts payable report for month ending September 30, 2025, major expenditures totaled $3,666,740.40. Our largest expenditure is payroll, $1,351,781. And then I have 7 major expenditures to point out. We had a payment towards the comprehensive water and sewer plan update for $62,057.62. A payment towards the city shop for $599,998.52. Our annual contribution payment to PBAC for $53,750. A payment towards the Camas Street Water Main Project for $172,721.02. A payment towards the alley west of Main Street Sewer Project for $146,061.38. And a payment towards the Troy Road and Harrison Street Sewer Project for $110,805.15. And we purchased more meters for the city meter upgrade project for $83,174.36.
This is just a random question that I thought of way too late in the night once. Where do we get our meters from?
From Zenner?
And where are they from? Like,
So Zenner is actually, I think, based in Switzerland. It's a European-based company, but they have offices and distribution here in the U.S. I don't know what distributor we're going through right now, but they are based overseas.
So far, so good with that deployment, right?
Yep,
Mhm.
meters have been working, and we've had those meters in our systems. We just haven't had their AMI system in place, but so far everything's going well.
My only question, since I didn't make it to the market at Jackson Street, are we all hunky-dory with the rest of the project, the alley behind Main Street project? I'm guessing the alley west of Main Street sewer project is from that.
So I know it's substantially complete and paid back in. I don't know if there's any punch list items yet to be done, but I think the bulk of the work is now complete.
it looks good.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
Nope.
And how do you feel about accepting the disbursements
should.
report? We accept.
On consent.
Ruby.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you, Sarah. Our third item is the lot line adjustment between 1204 Spruce Circle and 1204 Thatuna Avenue with Lucy Falsey. Welcome, and Mike. Hi, guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, I'm here just to introduce Lucy Falsey, and she's a planner in our department, been here for 4 months now.
Approximately.
So it's been a little slow on the lot line adjustment, lot division front, so you're just now meeting her after four months, so.
Great.
Trying to drum up business though.
Everybody move your lot lines.
We're an eager
Yeah.
audience.
Okay, well, this lot line adjustment is between 1204 Thatuna Avenue and 1204 Spruce Circle. They are towards the northern end of Orchard. You can see Thatuna going east-west there, and on the far right-hand side is the curve at the top of Mountain View Road. Closer in, both lots are zoned R1 with R2 zoning to the west and to the south. It's kind of a fun pattern right there. Closer in, 1204 Spruce Circle is on the north, 1204 Thatuna is on the south. The common lot line behind them is the portion to the west side of the south of Spruce Circle. If you look close, you can see the hint of see if I can get the pointer going, the hint of a fence line here. And that is approximately where they have historically understood the property line to be and how they've been using it. Relatively recently came to an agreement that that wasn't the property line and they want to change it to reflect that. Here's a diagram showing the adjusted lot line in relation to both existing houses. Note that the setback on the northern house is larger and will be coming into compliance where it wasn't exactly before. This drawing's a little off as well, but get the idea. In the R1 zone, the minimum lot size is 9,600 square feet. With the lot line adjustment, both lots are well within that realm. They're both going to be well over 11,000 square feet. Lot width doesn't change, access doesn't change. On the setbacks, the only one that does change is the rear yard setback, and they will both be compliant. And as noted, the one on the north side will be more compliant than it currently is. Staff's recommending approval of the lot line adjustment with no conditions.
Questions, comments?
Yeah, my only question is, I have no problem approving it, but do you know how they came about to figure out that that wasn't the right size or right lot?
I'm not sure how the property owner to the south realized it, but apparently chickens were involved.
Ah, that makes sense. Yep, oddly, it really does.
Love that.
Great, thanks.
Okay.
Seems common
I
sense.
recommend we
Yeah.
approve.
Yep.
No conditions.
How long, isn't there a rule about how long if you use somebody else's property that it's actually, is that a thing?
It is.
It
a thing.
becomes
There are
yours.
Other conditions that come into play as far as notifications and aggressiveness and
Aggressive chickens.
chickens.
Territorial chickens.
All
Yeah, how
right.
long it's uncontested, I think maybe around 20 years in Idaho.
Yeah, so that's if you want to claim adverse possession, which means if the two property owners have recognized a certain boundary that's not the legal boundaries that you can pursue to get a court order to essentially take possession of that property that's been recognized. It does vary based upon a number of factors, and you'd have to get a court order to actually take possession of the property.
But it doesn't apply because they actually agree, so it doesn't matter, right?
They agree, but there was legal involvement.
Oh,
Got it.
Conducting, getting to an agreement on it. And both houses were built in the mid-70s.
I recommend we approve the lot line adjustment request with no conditions.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with no conditions. Groovy. Is this are we comfortable with consent?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, lot line adjustments are
Great,
fine.
great. We'll put it on consent. Beautiful. Thank you, Lucy and Mike.
Good to meet you.
And you guys.
You're welcome. Yes.
Hopefully I'll see you again soon.
I love it.
Absolutely.
And our last item is approval of Axon Enterprise Inc. purchase agreement with Mr. Justin Blaker. Welcome. Groovy. All right. What do you have for us today?
So obviously Chief Dollinger would have loved to have been here, but he already had plans to be out of town. So he asked me to attend.
Did he say he misses us?
I don't know if he'll go that far. I'll let him inform you if
He's
he
in
missed you when he gets
Helena,
back.
Montana, so
Probably missing us right now because
Sure.
it's cold there.
Absolutely.
So the biggest thing I want to do is kind of give you a little bit of a layout of why we need the body worn cameras, in-car cameras, and even the tasers, which is kind of the preface of what we're asking for in this request for a one-time purchase of all of these items. We have had in-car cameras at least since I've been here, which was back in 2000 when I started. And it started with a VHS tape in our trunk with a VCR recorder. We then quickly went to more digital package under, well, I think it was, what was it, ICOP or something like that, which wasn't very good. And we've now been with WatchGuard since 2012. We've had those same cameras in our cars since then.
Hmm.
So they're now outdated, obviously, because as we all know, technology changes over very quickly. Tasers we've had at least since 2002, 2003. We are now on our 4th generation of tasers since I've been here. And again, they change every couple of years and they're constantly changing on a regular basis. And that can get very expensive as we try and upgrade them. As it's been going these last few years to try and upgrade our current tasers to what we've been going to, which are now also obsolete, it's taken us at least 5-6 years and we're still not even caught up yet because they're costing us, several $1,000s per taser
To
be
buy
able
the
to
oldest model on the market,
Exactly,
basically.
just
Okay.
to buy an older model. Body worn cameras and in-car cameras are expensive as well. We went to body worn cameras, I believe, in 2021, even though we tried to do it sooner. But I think 21 is when we actually implemented them. So in that time since we've had them, which has only been 3 years, we've had major issues with our body worn cameras. Some of the issues WatchGuard has not even ever seen before, which is the swelling of our batteries from the constant charging on them. So after a while, the batteries will actually pop off, so they won't even stay together in the case anymore, and they won't even actually be able to clip onto our officers' vests and stuff like that. And this is something that WatchGuard said they've never seen. They've worked with us to get us new batteries, but it's still an issue. So with that on top of it, we've also had malfunctions with some of them where sometimes they won't record. They'll just stop all of a sudden, which defeats the purpose of why we have them. So not having a good plan to redo all of those currently in place, we had to start looking at different things. So about the same time we started learning about our cameras, we also learned that Taser was no longer making the model of Tasers that we have. So they're not going to provide us with the cartridges, the batteries that go with it, or anything like that, or the upgrades. So now we're also looking for new Tasers. Well, the new Tasers are a Taser 10, which are much more expensive. Instead of only being maybe $2,000 a piece, they're now well over that. So the cost of buying one Taser now, we could have bought 3 Tasers in the past. So the cost now takes us that much longer to actually be able to replace them. Chief Dollinger started to look at different places that would be able to get us the items that we need, whether it be body cameras, in-car cameras, all of that, and also Taser. Part of the problem is Taser is the only manufacturer that makes them, and it's the only place we can buy those type of devices that we need as a tool for our officers to be able to use to hopefully prevent use of force. So as he started looking for it, and I can give you some of the numbers that he has in here, WatchGuard, which would only give us the body worn cameras and the in-car cameras, would cost us about $3,000 to replace everything at a one-time cost to replace everything that we need. Another company that was out there was Utility, would cost us about $365,000 again, just to give us body cameras and also the in-car cameras. Axon quoted us a price of $399,183.66. That gives us body worn cameras, in-car cameras, and all the tasers we need to include, not just for every single officer, but also to include the cartridges at no extra cost for 5 years. This is a 5-year quote, so we get everything for 5 years. We would get, like I said, tasers, all the training cartridges that we need, all the extra cartridges that we need, already set up, ready to go for 5 years without having to be charged any more money. So with the other 2 quotes with WatchGuard and Utility, that doesn't include the Taser price. The Taser price just for the tasers that we need, that doesn't include the rest of all of the cartridges and all of that, was about $187,185. So when we look at the totals, WatchGuard is going to be over $500,000. Utility is going to be over $550,000. But again, with Axon, with everything that we need, it still sets at $399,183. Now, the nice part about this, we got a nice little surprise from Whitcom over this last year, where they found out that they overcharged us for many years of the service part of the contract, and we currently have $200,000 available that we can use towards this purchase. And then I also understand the rest of that funds is currently available, so we can make a one-time purchase that'll last us for 5 years, where we can buy everything that we need to include all of this stuff, the tasers, everything else. And on top of that, halfway through, so in 2.5 years through that, we get all brand new body worn cameras. So before we start having these issues again, like we've had about a 3-year mark, because they get used a lot, they're out in different types of weather, they get beat up pretty hard because of what we put them through. After about halfway through that, through their life expectancy, we get brand new ones, no extra cost. So that puts us out to another 5 years. It is a one-time cost. Now, is this something that we're going to have to look at again in 5 years? Probably. But I think it's much cheaper to do something at a one-time cost at a much reduced rate than trying to piecemeal everything together over the next 15 years and still wind up having to start over again in 5 years when they redo everything again.
Have you heard from other agencies who have worked with Axon before?
Everyone I've talked to with Axon, we have a lot of people around us. So Lewiston PD uses it. Pullman PD's been with Axon for years. They love working with them. The
Cool.
customer service is really good. which is another thing. One of the reasons why Chief Dollinger started to look into this was customer service was not what he wanted to see coming from the current provider that we had.
Right.
We've had nothing but good experience so far with Axon. And like I said, I know these other agencies, they just love them. They only speak very highly of them.
Cool.
Anytime they have an issue, they're right on top of it and they help with the fixes.
How is this budgeted throughout the year? Do you put money away for these kinds of expenses, or is this something new that you're trying to start to do?
So as of right now, at least, so with the in-car cameras and the body worn cameras, a lot of that would come whenever we purchase a car. They would also at times purchase a new body camera or an in-car camera and a body worn camera with that. We weren't doing the body worn camera, unfortunately, because we didn't think we would need to at that point. But that's something maybe in the future we could look at, but I don't know. It's still going to cost a lot more
Sure.
than what we're currently getting. This deal that we're getting is a much reduced rate than trying to piecemeal things together.
Yeah.
But again, I know at least with the in-car cameras, the shop does a really good job of when we get new cars, we get new cameras for at the same time. And it's just making sure we're buying the most newest models that are there when we do that. And it still works with the system that we have. So that was at least one thing we have been doing. The tasers is totally different. The tasers generally come out of our firearms budget, which is a budget that also pays for all the ammunition that we need, both training ammo and duty ammo that we might need to replace throughout the year. Purchases of new firearms if we need them. So if guys retire and they're issued a firearm when they retire, we have to replace that one. If guns go down or they break, they get old, we have to replace those as well. So as we go through the firearms, whether it's our patrol rifles or handguns, we have to replace those. So that budget, which we're trying to keep somewhat small, could get really, really large as we start to add in much more tasers that we'd have to buy at this higher, $5,000-$7,000 a piece per taser, plus also be able to purchase all the cartridges that we would need. Because in a training, every officer has to fire at least 2 cartridges every year.
And it's a single use. That was going to be my question was,
So these new ones that they're going with are single use when you fire the probe out, because there's these Taser 10s have 10 probes in them. And every pull of the trigger fires one of the probes. So you have to replace those probes though every time you shoot them. So as a current system we had, it was just 2 cartridges in it, and you had to replace the cartridge each time. So it does get very expensive when you're constantly having to replace these. Now, these may not be items that we use multiple times a week. Sometimes we can go months without having to use them. But once you start looking at the training, because the training cartridges are different than the normal cartridges, plus then you have to have the proper training equipment that goes with it, which part of this will provide us with all of that. It can add up after a while. So by doing it piecemeal, we're going to have to drastically increase our firearms budget even more to accommodate rising costs of ammunition, rising costs of firearms, now adding in the rising cost of what these new tasers are going to be. Now, the problem I see is, okay, right now we're at the Taser 10. That's the 5th generation of Taser since I've been here. How long until they come out with the next Taser version in 3 or 4 years and they make the next one obsolete again? So we can't get the training materials that we need.
and so knowing that we would have 5 years of, this is the 5-year piece you were talking about, and warranty not only apply to the body worn cameras, but also to the tasers.
Tasers and everything.
Cool.
I have a couple questions. So one was just my curiosity. You said tasers help prevent use of force, or tasers not considered force?
It is part of the use of force, but
Okay.
they have a tendency when an officer has to utilize it. When people see the little red light come out, they tend to have a tendency to give up. So it is a deterrent also in a manner of speaking.
Mhm.
But what it really prevents us is having to go hands-on with someone where people get hurt. Because inevitably, if we have to grab a hold of you, we're going to wind up on the ground. When people go to the ground, people get hurt. The tasers help prevent that and allow us to take people into custody without having to fight with them. Because in the ideal world, as the taser is deployed and they're receiving the 5 seconds that the taser gives us, we're able to place them in handcuffs at that point in time so we don't have to fight with anyone. And really, that's what we're trying to do, because it's in those fights on the ground where people get hurt, to include officers and also the people we're trying to take into custody.
I was just curious about that language, because tasers seem kind of forceful to me. I don't know.
It's only a use of force when it's physically deployed.
And then will you use the old tasers until they wear out? Or are you just get
No,
rid of
we're
all
gonna
the
get-
old
We're going to get
tasers?
rid of all the old tasers, whether they go back to, don't know the exact plan we have with them, but options we have is to send them back to Taser themselves. We could even work with other agencies that don't have the ability to purchase these new tasers, but have the same old ones we do. Not sure how that would work, but we could help provide them at a lower cost, so then they have the
Something.
ability to have backups, have the tasers that they need, the training cartridges that they need, and everything like that for a little longer until they can figure out how to upgrade.
Okay, that answers my last question is what happens to the old tasers, but.
Excellent. So our proposed action is in front of us is to recommend approval of the purchase agreement with Axon Enterprises and the associated NASPO participation resolution.
Remind me again of the cost. I know you said we're getting money from Whitcom and then some other.
200,000.
So it's just 399,000 and change. So we had 200,000 from general fund accumulation when we did the last open budget that we held into the general fund, anticipating this expense, plus the 200,000 that we received as a refund from Whitcom for the database charges that we've been paying since for the last 15 years. So
Yeah, I recommend approval.
I'm comfortable recommending approval. It's a big enough number. I'm pondering if we want to go consent or regular agenda. What are things looking like?
I think the agenda is relatively light. We could have this on regular.
Are we interested in sharing this, what we've learned with full council? I could go either way.
I could go either way. I don't think this is anything new. I needed to hear the numbers again because I
Yeah.
just didn't remember, right? But this isn't a new thing. I don't think it's an extraordinarily crazy thing or oh my gosh kind of thing, right? It's something that we
It's
have
replacement
to do.
of.
We always replace the thing. What we did radios for fire, we do this,
Right.
So I could go either way. I don't care. But I think consent is also fine.
Preference, strong feelings?
Would prefer it on regular, just because I think it's interesting to find out what the police are using for
Cool.
body cameras and car cameras and.
I'm comfortable with that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not.
Let's go regular agenda.
With a recommendation for approval?
Recommend to
Yeah.
approve. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any closing thoughts, feelings other than a good go Mariners before we adjourn?
That's about it.
We are adjourned. Thank you.